Hey, we're back, folks. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I want to follow up something on the what the congressman said. He said there are a couple Democrats that quietly are concerned in Washington, D.C. A couple. It's amazing. It's shocking that no one in the left side of the media is concerned. It's shocking that, okay, we want to see Donald Trump's tax returns is what they say. We have to see that to go on for tomorrow. But you heard the news that the congressman just broke here on this show concerning Peter Strzok. Some more information we found about his security clearance and his involvement in investigations. It's amazing. Okay, now as Speaker of the House, many of you have asked me. I did not ask him direct, so I'm not apologizing. So let's not get confused. But what I am saying is, I want to let the congressman make his own statement on who he's going to support. Many people wanted me to ask him directly, do you support Jim Jordan? Okay, now I will tell you on the camera. I ain't do it on the phone because it's not what I do. But I have called the congressman's office and said, I support Jim Jordan and would hope that he would do the same. It's his district. Let's see what happens. So I have to say it like this. You heard what he said. And there's two things that I knew my suspicions are validated here this morning by my conversation. One, Republicans don't need to talk about it until the election's over, the leadership. And I can agree with that. I think if you just start arguing the leadership and you start screaming leadership before November, you don't want your candidates to have to argue who or make that part of their campaign they're going to support for Speaker when they're focusing on trying to just retain the House. So I am okay with that. I don't see no need to focus or get into the fight now of who should be the Speaker. Congressman Collins said he is going to look to see who is actually out there doing the work to try to maintain the leadership in the House. Okay? So to maintain the House or keep the House in Republican hands. And I can understand that because the Speaker of the House has to be someone that's out there working hard to try to keep the House under Republican control. So I figured that. So my suggestion is call the congressman's office. Put your name on the list. He's got an office. Call. I have had internally from Congressman Collins' office, I have had his staff tell me internally, you're not calling. The Democrats are calling. I had someone over at Congressman Collins' office one time say, Democrats are ringing our phone off the hook. They're energized. They're calling, complaining. You're not calling. So if you want to see a certain person as Speaker of the House, call Congressman Collins' office and tell him that's what you want. Call over to Gainesville. Put your name on the list. Tell them who you are, you live in the district, and who you'd like to see as Speaker of the House. Now, moving right along, I want to go into something before I get into the last night elections. See, I say stuff like that, and then I never follow up. Put up Florida Governor number 2. And I'm not going to get into this. This is not a segment in itself. I just want to put this up, okay? The media is going nuts over Gilliam, okay? 34%. He beat Graham, and we know Graham's the daughter of former Senator Graham in Florida, Levine, and Green, okay? But Gilliam got 34%. He's the black mayor. Well, if you look twice, you'll notice. He's the black mayor from Tallahassee. You may say, well, why do you have to identify him as the black mayor? Why can't he just be the mayor of Tallahassee? I didn't do that. See, this is what they're doing, because already on the Enemy of the State network, MSNBC, the first thing they did this morning when they opened at 6 a.m., boy, you can see on the bottom of the screen, this is MSNBC. This is at 6:18. Buddy, they opened the show with this guy right here, and they talked about Florida having the first black candidate. Now, America, they want to recreate 2008 Obama. They want white voters to continue to apologize, to continue to ask forgiveness in this country for what we have done as the evil white people of America. I'm serious. That's what they want, okay? So MSNBC, they highlighted this guy right out of the box, Bernie Sanders, progressive. First black candidate for a major office in Florida. First black gubernatorial candidate in Florida. And then they went right into who else? Stacey Abrams. Why, Georgia and Florida both have first black something candidates for governor, progressive, liberal candidates for governor. And they want me to think that the Russians manipulated and tried to fix the outcome of an election. The media. So, all right, I want to change subjects for a minute. Let's go a different direction, okay? It's going to be a little boring, but it might remind you a little bit of class. All right, class, pay attention. All right, 3 federal judges. Now, Congressman Collins put this up. And I want to say this. I do love, for the most part, my Republican friends. For the most part. I go to some Republican things and, really okay. But I go to a lot of Republican events. You know, you got your old fish fry, and I never like to miss a good fish fry, right? Fish fry and hush puppies at a good Republican event, a stump speech. But I think what happens all too often is they get in there and they cheerlead, okay? All right? Now, here's something that is amazing to me, and here's where I'm going to get an opportunity to upset everybody. Okay? Republicans get in there and they have these cheerleading sessions. It's all right, and get out to vote, and you better vote, and if you don't vote, Nancy Pelosi could be the next face of America with Maxine Waters right next to her. They could both be riding in the limo together. Okay? So they get out and they rah, rah, rah. Okay? Then you have what used to be Republicans that are still Republicans but are in a different group that go and they actually work and they show you statistics and they show you, they actually do a good job at showing you things, but it's the kind of things that go against their own people, Republicans. So when you go to their meeting, this is my chance to make everybody mad, and I'm not against anybody. Please, just relax, damn it. So you go to their meetings, and they have good information, but they want to do everything to get rid of the rhino. So over here in this camp, they call them all the rhinos, and they're over there cheering. And in this camp, they want to get rid of the rhinos. But between the two camps, there's really, to my opinion, because I go to a lot of them, not enough focus on what's happening to us long term. Republicans live in the moment. That's great, right? They don't live for tomorrow, they live now. All right? But Democrats, progressives, the Saul Alinsky, they have a plan. And man, do they work that plan like you would not believe. And they work it methodically. So if they lose an election or two, they're still working the plan. And I want to go over this for a reason. You continue to talk about losing the House of Representatives in the upcoming election. All right? 2018. And we continue to talk about history in the election cycle. And historically, in an off year, the president does lose seats. in his party in an off year in the election cycle historically. But Democrats are working to fix that. Democrats are working to never let that happen again. Democrats are working to get it to where you never see the House of Representatives Republican again if they have anything to do with it. You never see the White House Republican again if they have anything to do with it. And they work hard. Republicans are trying to campaign to win an election. The Democrats are working through other channels. Congressman Doug Collins brought up Pennsylvania. Automatically moved about 4 seats, or if not 4, more of them, more than 4 seats, over in the Democrats' candidate column, and they don't have to campaign one day. They just belong to them because of the way they have drawn the lines. There's 2, I forget the other, was it Woodall? But I do know Handel. Congressman Doug Collins brought up Karen Handel, the 6th district. I've said many times, all they have to do is redraw that district by 2 miles one direction or another, and the 6th district is no longer a Republican district. Trust me. I mean, they can adjust that line a little left, right? No pun intended. They can adjust that line just a little left, and the 6th district is no longer red. So, to me, the breaking news is how Obama, Eric Holder, Robert Reich, former labor secretary under Bill Clinton, okay, how some of these people, their work is coming to full bloom. Pennsylvania, Democrat governor, redrawn districts. North Carolina. Now, I know these are federal judges, but North Carolina, what? Democrat governor. Federal court again orders North Carolina congressional districts redrawn. All right? A federal court in North Carolina ruled Monday that the state's congressional districts must be redrawn and suggested that November's scheduled general election may need to be postponed. May need to be postponed. Yes. You heard me correctly. New York Times, North Carolina is ordered to redraw its gerrymandering congressional map again, right? It's ordered to do it again. And, well, I'm sorry, New York Times wants money for me to finish that article. I had it up there earlier, but I refuse to give the New York Times any money. So they want them to redo the map. Here's the point. Right now, we don't know if the courts are going to accept the congressional maps as drawn in North Carolina for this November's election. Exactly right. We may not know the balance of power in Congress in November. That's right. What happens now? All right. Redistricting commissions bills. Have you ever read the National Conference on State Legislatures, the Redistricting Commission? So, let me ask you, this was in North Carolina. This is who won. Put up Common Cause. All right, put the picture up, Common Cause. Common Cause brought the lawsuit in North Carolina. All right. This was a Common Cause lawsuit in North Carolina. Now, does the symbol there, the color scheme, the blue, not even the shade of blue is off, okay? Then Organizing for America, right? OFA, Organizing for America. What is Organizing for America? That is Barack Obama, period. Common Cause, not even a shade off. The red swoosh right through there, just exactly looks the same. Common Cause brought the lawsuit in North Carolina. All right? That is happening right now. Now let's look here and see. My computer's a little off today. Not me, folks, the computer. Common Cause in North Carolina, and gerrymandering, okay? So you can read the article, End Gerrymandering Now, Common Cause, all right? Then you click over, while they happen to have a Common Cause chapter in Georgia, Protecting Democracy in Georgia, Common Cause, holding the state and local government accountable. They give you the illusion that it's a nonpartisan organization, but look there, Common Cause, right? Now, we know, I think you know, really, let me go to this, the home page here. Do you recognize these two guys right here? See if you got a picture of two guys. You know two guys I'm looking at in there? See if you see you got one picture with two guys. They're both got their hands over their hearts. I would give you the name. I just don't want to give it out yet. I'd like for you to find it. There's two guys I sent you a picture of. There they are. Barack Hussein Obama and Eric Holder. Barack Hussein Obama, OFA, Organizing for America. Eric Holder, the chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. You are so tired of me hearing me say the NDRC. But there they are, those two guys right there, okay? Now, Eric Holder left 2 years early. He left behind the Department of Justice in very good hands with Loretta Lynch, but he left 2 years early so he could get out there and get Obama's dream of taking the country over through the process of redistricting the country once again. Okay, I don't know, Holder may be his heir apparent to the presidency, not Hillary Clinton. This may be the guy. You could talk Elizabeth Warren all day long. You can talk all those other people, but I don't know if Barack Obama's heir apparent's not this guy here, because I will tell you, these are the two. Let me go to the political system is rigged. This is the NDRC. Put their logo up. I think I just gave you a logo. NDRC. If you find their logo, put it up. The political system is rigged. The fight to fix it is now. Okay? Is it up? I can't see. All right, then the background is really bad because I clipped it out. That's my fault because the background's really bad to where you can't see it. I think it's got the black background, okay? So let's fix it now. The system is rigged. Eric Holder, okay? Eric Holder, learn about gerrymandering. Now, right on the main page is former President Barack Obama highlights the damaging effect of partisan and racial gerrymandering in democracy, calls on America to get engaged in the 2018 midterm elections as it is a critical year for redistricting and restoring fairness back to elections. What did Barack Obama do? Okay. Actually, is that a map? Is that a map? Can you tell me if that's... I can't see it across the room because it's dark. It's their logo? Okay. All right, anyhow, Barack Obama, what was the very first thing he did in his first wave of endorsements? He endorsed Stacey Abrams in Georgia. So Obama, OFA, and Eric Holder is the chairman. Eric H. Holder Jr. serves as chairman of National Democratic Redistricting Committee. Okay? Now, before I get too far into that, put up what I call target states. There it is. Okay? So if you go to the NDRC, and you look at the target states, they got a place called target states. Now across the room, you can see the very dark. This is Barack Obama and Eric Holder. And this is Common Cause. The same people that caused lawsuits in North Carolina went through Pennsylvania. All right? So when you see target states, the very dark blue is target states, and the light blue is watch states. Do you notice Florida and Georgia? Did you notice this morning? I like to put it together because they're corrupt. They're dirty. Deep state media is corrupt. I study the media, and I study these criminals in politics, okay, and how they want to manipulate your elections, not the damn Russians, okay? Georgia and Florida are in the target states. Now, don't take this wrong, just a coincidence. Georgia and Florida have 2 black candidates on the ballot. Just saying. Now, when you go to that and you look at Georgia, it will also tell you what they are targeting. So put up the Georgia targets. So if you click on Georgia, it will tell you their focus. Okay? And that's marked, I call it Georgia targets. There you go. Georgia is a growing state that could gain a congressional seat following the 2020. It will have a new seat. Census. Republicans in Georgia have a history of gerrymandering, including mid-cycle redistricting in 2015 to lock their majorities in the state legislature. All right? Our electoral targets include the open governor's seat and the state senate. So in the featured races over there, the bullet points, governor and state senate. That's right. The Senate writes your redistricting. Absolutely. They are targeting. Now also, the state Senate in Georgia, they know this. The state Senate is still controlled by Republicans in Georgia, but last year when Hunter Hill, or this past year, okay, this past year, not last year, this past year, when Hunter Hill, State Senator Hunter Hill resigned to run for governor, his seat went to a Democrat in a special election, a Senate Democrat down there around, was it Marietta or wherever he's at? And his seat went to a Democrat, and the Republicans in Georgia lost the supermajority in the Senate, their state Senate. They still have majority, but not supermajority. And Barack Obama, you want to talk about being under attack? Well, who else is Barack Obama and Eric Holder but George Soros and deep state, as bad as you can get? And their focus is the state Senate. There's a couple good reasons. Let's say they could take back the state Senate, and they don't. But let's say who presides over the state Senate? The lieutenant governor. Lieutenant governor presides over the state Senate. And their focus is the governor. I'm just telling you, I too many times, I hear cheerleading, okay? And that's what I'm going to say. I hear cheerleading on the Republican side, rah, 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 get out the vote. And then I hear over here on what seems to be Republican side, and don't get mad, you can get mad if you want, but, you know, that they are focused and they're doing the hard work because they want to get rid of the rhinos. But between what they call, I'll just say it, between what they call the rhinos and what the rhinos, just saying, Republicans in name only, they call it the Republican Party in Georgia, what they're saying are these people over here on the fringe. I don't see a concerted effort to worry about Obama, Eric Holder, the NDRC, National Democrat Redistricting Committee, trying to get a Democrat governor elected before the 2020 census, trying to dig into that state Senate, trying to redraw the congressional map here in Georgia to where I tell you what, you could lose 3 seats overnight and they're not coming back. You can redraw a mile, you could change things a mile in one direction in about 3 districts in Georgia and they're gone. Okay? That's just the bottom line. And I don't think there's enough focus on that. And I don't think there's enough concern about what happened in North Carolina and Common Cause and paying attention to the target states on the NDRC and what their targets are. So I just wanted to say that, wanted to bring it up. You better pay attention to North Carolina and what those judges are going to do here when it comes to running an election for November. I'm going to take a brief break. We're going to come back and look at last night's election results, talk a little bit about that. We haven't confirmed a time. We think we're waiting to confirm a time that Georgia candidate for governor, Republican candidate for governor, Brian Kemp, will be on the show tomorrow. And we're working every day because starting next week, we will not be here Monday. It's a holiday. But starting this week, obviously today, Congressman Doug Collins. Friday's show, Georgia House Speaker David Ralston will be with us at Sycamore Crossing. He'll be with us there. We will have Brian Kemp on the show, and next week we're going to attempt. Now, all candidates are invited. So do not look at this camera and say, how come you're not inviting the Democrat candidates? We're working to give everybody an opportunity to come on the show and be interviewed and talk about their race and why they think you should vote for them. I'm your host, BKP. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back after these messages, look at some takeaways from last night's election, and just a couple other things we got going on. What about Google? What if they block us all out 30 days before the election? Just saying. Take us a break.